Cuba, it's me, Elian Habanero, and we're here with episode 1 of Wrestling Magazine Memories. I'm going to go through the collection of wrestling magazines I have and just go through some of the best articles, just tell you a little bit about what you can find in them, and do a little read along with Cuba. First, I have to give a big shout out to Joey Allen, because if it wasn't for him, I would not have my hands on most of this magazine collection. Is because of him, so thank you to you. And the one we're doing today, I'll try and put it up here in the corner. It's going to be June 1988 episode of copy, issue of The Wrestler with Sting on the cover. It says The Wrestler, June 1988, $1.75 American, $2.50 in Canada. And at the top there it says Kerry Von Erich's Day of Rage, and how Sting's war with Ric Flair could make him a horseman, and Money for Nothing. Ted DiBiase pays a high price for his greed, and then at the bottom, Nikita Koloff's anti-drug campaign, just say niet. So I'm going to read this, the interesting stuff. So we got some weird ads here. There's a locksmith ad, there's some Universal Bodybuilding Inc., and then the wrestler table of contents, and then there's a thing to try and get a subscription deal. It's almost like you get 8 issues free, 35% saved off the regular newsstand price. And then the videotape event of the year, they got an ad here for some videotapes. And there's some fan letters sent in there. And here we go. What's Happening by Bill Apter. The AWA World Heavyweight title controversy is completely out of hand. In the wake of Greg Gagne's pinfall victory over champion Curt Hennig on February 4th in Minneapolis, promoters in Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Minneapolis, Wisconsin, North Dakota are recognizing Gagne as champion. But because AWA President Stanley Blackburn never sanctioned their steel cage match as being a title match, Hennig is still officially recognized as champion of the AWA. The AWA title cannot change hands in a cage without the approval of the president. Now that the title has been declared held up in the Pacific Northwest following a match between Hennig and the Pacific Northwest heavyweight champion, the Grappler, in Portland, Oregon. Grappler kicked Hennig with a loaded boot while referee Sandy Barr wasn't looking, then covered Hennig for the pin. But PNW official Barry Owen stopped Barr before he could make the 3 count. While Owen told Barr what happened, the assassin entered the ring and headbutted Grappler with a loaded mask, knocking him out. Hennig then covered Grappler for the pin, but promoter Don Owen later revealed that Blackburn ordered the match stopped and the belt held up in the event of outside interference. So Gagne is the champion in some areas, Hennig is the champion in other areas, and the belt has been held up in the Pacific Northwest. Who's the champ? The AWA is officially recognizing Hennig, and the wrestler will abide by this decision until something else changes the situation. Meanwhile, the AWA World Tag Team belts are also at the center of controversy. The Midnight Rockers defended their championship against the Rock and Roll Express on February 15th in Memphis, but a double pin situation caused the title to be held up. The rematch was held 1 week later in Memphis, and the Rockers regained the belts, but not without some chicanery on the part of Shawn Michaels of the Rockers and Manny Fernandez. Marty Jannetty of the Rockers and Robert Gibson were fighting outside the ring as referee Jerry Calhoun tried to restore order. Meanwhile, Rick Morton had Michaels pinned, but Fernandez ran into the dressing room, climbed the ropes, and came crashing down on Morton's back. Fernandez then put Michaels on top, continued on page 46, of Morton, and ran back to the dressing room just as Calhoun returned to the ring and made the 3 count. The AWA allows for a videotape review of controversial title matches, but it appears that this decision will stand. All but one World Wrestling Council men's titles changed hands during February. Hercules Ayala defeated Carlos Colon for the Universal title on February 13th in Puerto Rico after Ayala's manager Chicky Star handed him a foreign object. Colon held the belt since September 20th, 1987. Bobby Daggers and his partner, Dandy Don Crawford, won the Caribbean tag belts from Chris and Mark Youngblood, and Abdullah the Butcher defeated Miguel Perez Jr. for the North American title, but Perez bounced back to defeat Kareem Muhammad for the Puerto Rican Championship. Dale Mann is the heavyweight champion of Mid-Continental Wrestling, an independent group operating in Kentucky. Mann is feuding with Danny Fargo, Sheik Ala Siktar, and Mike Doggendorf. He recently returned from a tour of South Africa where he defended his belt against South African champion Ironman Mike George. Mike George will defend his World Wrestling Alliance title against TV champion Masa Chono. The Championship Wrestling Alliance, formerly Mid-Southern, will air its TV show on the Financial News Network beginning in April. FNN is available on most basic cable systems. Andre the Giant tried to give the WWF World title to Ted DiBiase, but was stopped by Federation President Jack Tunney. Now over in the NWA, Mike Rotundo has given his Florida belt to Rick Steiner when Kevin Sullivan, the leader of the Varsity Club, said on TV that Rotundo was his favorite wrestler. Steiner responded, "Why is Mike your favorite?" Sullivan, ever the politician, said, "I won't give everything you want, but I'll give you everything you need." Sullivan then ordered Rotundo to give Steiner the Florida belt and told Steiner, "Don't lose it." Steiner will only defend the belt for Rotundo, who's also the NWA TV champion. NWA officials are looking at the situation closely, determining a ruling on this issue. Michael Hayes turned some heads during a world-class card in Dallas. Hayes, who until recently wrestled in the NWA while his former Fabulous Freebird partners Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts formed an alliance with Iceman Parsons and Angel of Death, was in town. Michael Hayes was in town to promote a March 4 stop on his Bad Street Band concert tour. Hayes entered the ring to greet the crowd and told the fans that he no longer has differences with the Von Erichs, his longtime enemies. Hayes also said, that he doesn't mind if Roberts and Gordy are friends with Parsons, but Angel of Death is another story. Hayes and the Angel have had several confrontations in the UWF last year when Angel was supposedly the Freebird's bodyguard. But Angel attacked Hayes during a match, and it was later discovered that Angel was working for General Skandor Akbar. Angel was also managed by Parsons in 1987, and was even Hayes' protege at one point. The bad blood still remains, and it's hard to say what might happen next. Tom Zenk, who is readying himself for a challenge to Curt Hennig's AWA World title, has left the AWA for undisclosed reasons. Doug Furness suffered a mild concussion and required 28 stitches as a result of a stretcher match against Southeast Continental Champion Lord Humongous. By the way, see ratings analysis on page 66 for complete details on Continental's split into two federations. And that's what's happening. See you at the matches. So that's I guess, this says this is a June 1988 edition, but it all seems to be February of 1988. You know how magazines can be like that. Does anybody remember any of this stuff taking place, or were they following any of this stuff at the time, or did anybody have this magazine, or still has it, or anything like that? I'd love to see some comments in the video. So now we got Correspondent Reports. So I guess this is people that go to shows. This one is, the correspondent is Michael Lang, and he went to a show in Landover, Maryland. It was at the Capitol Center. The main event at the Capitol Center was a 30-man battle royal bunkhouse style, meaning that a wrestler could come to the ring dressed any way he pleased. The action was hot and heavy as wrestlers seemed to be going over the top rope constantly. One of the most impressive moments in the early going on was when Ultimate Warrior had one-man gang and Hercules Hernandez in his complete control. After plenty of frantic action, there was just 4 wrestlers left: Jake the Snake Roberts, Don the Rock Morocco, and Demolition. Axe and Smash were dominating as they double-teamed Roberts. They then did the same to Morocco. Finally, they threw out Roberts, leaving the Rock to deal with Demolition by himself. Jake stayed at ringside to watch as Demolition continued to destroy Morocco. The situation changed dramatically when Jake threw a snake in the ring. Axe was caught by surprise, leaving Smash to deal with Morocco. Smash was easily thrown from the ring, as was Axe, leaving the Rock Don Morocco as the winner. In other bouts, Dino Bravo defeated Lanny Poffo, Sam Houston beat Danny Davis, Ultimate Warrior and Hercules Hernandez were both counted out, One Man Gang defeated Don Morocco, Jake Roberts beat Harley Race, Greg Valentine defeated Brutus Beefcake, and Davey Moy Smith beat Islander Haku, And then there's another one here from Aaron Goff, Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Minneapolis Auditorium has been the site of many historic wrestling matches dating back to 1941, when Bronco Nagurski beat Ray Steele for the NWA World title. Because the historic site is going to be torn down, the AWA decided to hold one last card at the auditorium. The event was attended by former greats like Red Bastion and Stan Crusher Kowalski, and included ring appearances by aged veterans such as Billy Robinson and Dick the Bruiser. Unfortunately, the last wrestling match ever at the auditorium ended in controversy. AWA World Champion Curt Hennig faced arch rival Greg Gagne in a steel cage match. Hennig complained that special referee Leo Nomalini, not sure if I said that right, an ex-football and wrestling great, was biased because he was a good friend of Vern Gagne's. All scientific wrestling was thrown out as both combatants used the cage to brutalize one another. Hennig took the early advantage when he opened up a gash on Gagne's forehead after ramming the challenger's head into the steel mesh 6 consecutive times. Hennig followed up his attack with kicks and punches. Gagne was able to reverse an Irish whip which catapulted the champion headfirst into the cage. Gagne then grabbed Hennig's legs and fell back. The momentum continued on page 44. Okay. The momentum forced Hennig to fly into the cage, opening a severe cut on his forehead. Gagne tried to end the match by applying a sleeper hold. In a desperate move, Hennig kicked at Nomalini. The move forced Gagne to break the hold, after which Hennig regained the advantage by ramming Gagne into the cage. Hennig's reservations about Nomalini were confirmed when the official, frustrated with Hennig's tactics, took matters in his own hands by grabbing Hennig and hitting him with a shoulder block. Gagne dropped to stun Hennig and covered him for the 3 count. Though the match was originally billed as an AWA World title bout, AWA President Stanley Blackburn announced that he was not able to sanction a title match in a cage as the proper papers did not reach his office in time. As a result, Gagne's pinfall victory did not merit the world title. In other bouts, the Midnight Rockers defeated Kevin Kelly and Ninja Go. Wahoo McDaniel and Baron Von Raschke beat the Nasty Boys. Ray Stevens pinned Soldat Ustinov. Billy Robinson did a draw with Tom Zink. And Bruiser beat Sheikh Adnan Al-Kasi by disqualification. Okay, let's see what else we got here. This is, you asked us. Okay, here's the monthly feature which you get to write. It's your chance to have a top wrestler answer your questions. So, this person says, my question is for Dusty Rhodes. If Larry Zbyszko got rough with Baby Doll the way Tully Blanchard did 2 years ago, would you come to her rescue again? And I'm not doing the Dusty Rhodes voice, but he responded here, that woman is bad news, Dusty replied. I don't want no part of her ever again. What she did to me in the past is unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. The dream will not fall for her wily charms like he did back then. I was being chivalrous, you understand? And look how she repaid me. Poor Larry Zbyszko. He don't really know what he's doing. He don't realize what Baby Doll is capable of. When he finally learns, Daddy, it's going to be too late, just like it was for Tully Blanchard. And then we'll do another question here. We're not going to do all of them. Like, I didn't do all the correspondent reports because, you know, some people want to still get their hands on it and they don't want full spoilers, and we don't want the video to be 40 minutes long. So we'll do this one. My question is for Curt Hennig. I know that you are the greatest AWA World Champion of all time, and the chances of you getting beaten are about 1 billion to 1. But if anybody could beat you for the belt, who would it be? Sent in from Larry Ammon and Draycott, I think it's Michigan. I don't know. I'm from Canada. Well, Cuba, Canada. I don't like to answer hypothetical questions, Hennig replied. I won't even speculate about how I might lose because I won't. As you said it, I'm the greatest AWA champion ever. The competition is good, but not nearly good enough. Greg Gagne may think he's worthy of my belt, but he hasn't proven a thing. When he's occasionally lucky enough to win a tainted victory, it's in a non-title match. It figures. The idiot saves his best efforts for matches that don't even count. If that's not proof of what a total idiot Gagne is, I don't know what is. And then they got, it's going to be hard to see, but a thumbs up and a thumbs down column. So they've got a thumbs up for Bruiser Brody for donating his boots to some kind of thing for a fundraiser for muscular dystrophy. Thumbs up to Nikita Koloff, who spoke out about drug abuse. Thumbs up to the Honky Tonk Man. Okay. Oh wow, Honky Tonk Man getting praised for living up to his obligations. And a thumbs up to Tom Zink. Oh, he felt slighted as a member of the Can-Am Connection. Thumbs down to Hogan for the world title controversy. Thumbs down to Ken Mantell. Thumbs down to Ivan Koloff. And thumbs down to Bill Dundee. And then back issues of The Wrestler, which we do have some that we'll be putting out. And then there's a thing introducing Solomon Grundy. There's a big article on him. And, oh wow, there's a big article, a Q&A article with Bobby Heenan. So we'll just read a couple of the questions quick. Each month, The Wrestler will present a question and answer forum with an important figure. This month, it is Bobby Heenan. It's been a long time since you've donned the tights, but you're scheduled to team with the Islanders against the British Bulldogs and Coco Beware at WrestleMania 4. It seems that this is a bit of a mismatch because the Bulldogs and Coco Beware are 3 wrestlers, while the Islanders or yourself are 2 wrestlers and a manager. Why are you doing it? Why are you taking this risk? And I'm not going to do Heenan's voice either. Why am I doing it? You're asking me why I'm doing it? That's very simple. The reason I'm getting involved in this 6-man tag team match is to prove to everyone that the British Bulldogs are spreading a bunch of lies. They have the nerve to think I stole their dog, but I wouldn't go near that mutt. You're denying that you played a part in the kidnapping of Matilda when everybody in the arena saw it and everybody was watching on TV saw it too. It was plain as could be. The Islanders grabbed Matilda, ran down the runway, through the hallway, and out the door. It's been documented. It's on tape. I'm telling you that I didn't do nothing with that dog. What I did was very simple. The dog was near the ring, which is against the rules, I might add. I took the dog away from the ring and took it out to the parking lot. When I got there, this mutt, this rabid, flea-infested mutt, went to attack us, so we jumped into the limousine and left. And then there's a bunch more. And now we're on page 26. This panel is an X-ray. So each month, the Wrestler's panel of experts will offer their candid opinions of one of wrestling stars, whether an up-and-coming youngster or an established superstar in their own right. Our panel will always be frank and honest. This week, they're going to be talking about Greg Gagne, and the panel is Captain Lou Albano, Killer Kowalski, Professor Toru Tanaka, Larry Hennig, Lou Thez, and Jack Briscoe. We're not going to do that. And then there's a article on Tom Zink. Anything Martel can do, I can do better. We're not going to read that one. Kerry Von Erich's Day of Rage. How Sting's war with Ric Flair could make him a horseman. Money for Nothing. This is an article about Ted DiBiase paying a high price for his greed for the belt from Andre. Nikita Koloff's anti-drug campaign, Just Say Niet. I don't know which one we want to read. I think that we'll read this one, and then I think that's it, just the rankings. So Nikita Koloff's anti-drug campaign. 8 a.m. is not an active hour for the student body of Andrew Jackson High School. Hallways filled with sluggish bodies, some drifting, a few talking, most slinking like zombies from homeroom toward first period classes. Today is an exception. By 7:30, the entire 1,200-member student body, bright-eyed and enthusiastic, is lined up outside the auditorium doors. Everyone is anxious to get the best possible seat for this morning's special assembly. Teachers stare in genuine amazement. "Who is here?" asks one social studies teacher. "Whitesnake? Tiffany? Someone without any redeeming social value whatsoever must be here to get these kids aroused so early." The teacher, a 22-year veteran of high school cynicism, is wrong. As the teacher spoke, this morning's special guest was driving from his first speaking engagement, a 6:30 a.m. breakfast meeting at a neighboring junior high school. And there would be 8 more appointments following his talk at Andrew Jackson, the last one taking place at 10:45 p.m. in a state 400 miles away. The social studies teacher would be further interested to know that the guest speaker, motivated not by money, he's not being paid for his talks, or patriotism, because he's not a U.S. citizen, took a 2-month leave of absence from his full-time profession to complete this speaking tour of the country's schools and workplaces. His concern was born from a personal tragedy suffered years earlier, and a deep-rooted fear that there is a pervasive menace on the loose threatening the youth of his adopted country as never before. He is Nikita Koloff. And wherever he goes, the message is delivered with the same thundering intensity of a forum smash. Say no to drugs. Koloff is met at the school doorway by the principal and an attendance officer. Mr. Koloff, the attendance officer says, so far as I can tell, only 3 students are absent today. I cannot tell you what a remarkable phenomenon that is. Perhaps, laughs the principal, you consider a full-time job? Koloff acknowledges it all, the compliment, the offer, the handshakes with a grunt. Where is auditorium, he demands. I'm very busy. I must speak to the children. He is led backstage when 2 assistants assemble the equipment for his presentation. Although never schooled in the art of public speaking, Koloff keeps his audience spellbound through his lecture, as the children will soon discover. The curtain is raised and the children are silent. A film clip begins. We recognize the teenage Nikolov and some friends wrestling in a large backyard expanse. Nikita, in one suspects, overshadows his playmates until another boy entered the picture. He is bigger than Nikita, more muscular, and extremely agile. He picks Nikita up and tosses him over his head. The rest of the children laugh. The movie fades. The lights go on. Koloff addresses the assembly. Many of you know who I am. It is not a question, and cheers and applause quickly fills the auditorium. Koloff motions for silence and continues. Do you any of you recognize the boy in the moves with me? There is no response. He was my best friend, Vladimir Postervenko, the greatest athlete in all of Moscow. He could beat me in a wrestling match with one hand tied behind his back, which he did quite often. We expected him to go to the Olympics. Here is my friend 5 years later. The lights dim and a brightness fills the screen. The facade of a hospital fades in the stark white room. Koloff's friend, recognizable only because of the name tag on his hospital robe, lies rigid in bed. He weighs perhaps 95 pounds. There follows an incredible montage of photographs juxtaposing Vladimir at different stages of his life. Vladimir in competition, tall and muscular. Vladimir in a clinic, emaciated, his arms filled with hypodermic needle marks. This continues for some moments until the lights go back on. Today my friend is dead, Koloff says. He died in Moscow. He was like a bum in the streets because someone gave him drugs when he was in school. Koloff's point has been hammered home with amazing clarity, the rest of his speech emphasizing the senseless and inevitable danger of drugs. These kids have heard 100 times, but the image in the film of emaciated Vladimir laying face down in a pool of his own vomit will linger in their minds forever. During a question and answer period, one student asked Koloff what he did to help during his friend's addiction. I was very ashamed, he says, bowing his head, but I could not understand how my friend got involved with drugs. I did not know how to help or what to do. In Russia, there is not as many places as in the United States for young people to go and get the help that they need. They keep problems very much a secret. In my time here in America, I see many, many young people in trouble with drugs. Some even offer drugs to me as a vehicle of friendship. These people are sick people. They do nobody any good. They offer nothing but death. Koloff signs autographs for 20 minutes, each autograph punctuated by the quickly scrawled phrase, just say niet, a clever Russianization of the First Lady Nancy Reagan's just say no message. Koloff believes in as much personal contact as possible. A hug or a handshake is better than a pamphlet. This is a hard time we live in, hard time to be growing up in. Children need all the help we can give them. Koloff then gets up to leave. The next school is an hour away. The tireless grapper knows that he is but one man in a wide campaign to fight drugs. He knows that this is one opponent he cannot vanquish in a bear hug, that he cannot extend to the time limit, but he will do his best to try. And then beyond the squared circle, they got a bunch of photographs here. Got the end of some of the articles that we didn't read. And I think it's just that and the ratings now. And I just want to quickly see what the ratings were like back in this time. Continue. Oh, here we go. Top 10. Number 10, Brutus Beefcake. Number 9, Owen Hart. Oh, Stampede North American Champion. Wow. Number 8, Randy Savage. Number 7, Sting. Number 6, Al Perez. Number 5, Kurt Hennig. Number 4, Lex Luger. Number 3, Dusty Rhodes. Number 2, Hulk Hogan. And number 1, Ric Flair. And the top 10 tag teams. Number 10, Bruce Hart and Brian Pillman. Number 9, the Rock and Roll Express. Number 8, Warlord and Barbarian. Number 7, the British Bulldogs. Number 6, Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart. Number 5, the Midnight Rockers. Number 4, Demolition. Number 3, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane. Number 2, Rick Martel and Tito Santana. And number 1, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. So let me know what you think. Do you want me to read all the articles? Do you want me to read a little bit less? What did you like? What did you dislike?